Hello and welcome to the Matrix Fitness live workout. My name is Matt Gleed. I'm going to take you today for a conditioning workout, which is not too high intensity at all. What we're going to focus on today is a bit of controlled movement, some really nice rehabilitation exercises for any potential lower back problems or glute problems as well. So we've got some really nice movements, got a little bit of balance work in there and coordination as well. So nothing too high intensity today. However, I do have some exercises where you can push yourself and try and push your heart rate and get some power and development in there as well. So a really nice balanced workout. So let me take you through what you're going to need. Just a mat available nearby you to make it a little bit more comfortable on the floor. Other than that, just a little bit of space as we start to have a little bit of movement side to side as well. Let's take you for a warm-up. The main workout will have 3 rounds of exercises, 45 seconds of work, 15 seconds recovery, and we'll do each exercise twice, which will allow you time to really start to master how you to do the exercise. Then what we're going to do is take you for a little bit of a yoga movement, just for a little bit of a cool down as well. So let's begin with that warm up, starting to reach your body across, starting to feel a little bit of a stretch through the chest and a bit of mobility coming through the shoulder and activation through the back muscles. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take your hands around about shoulder height and we're just going to put a little rotation through your body. So pivoting from your foot, moving a little bit of mobility for your hips and for your upper spine as well. What we're going to do is we can start to get you moving, just so that when we are starting to do some of these exercises, you feel good when you move and you can move with some good purpose as well. Let's take your feet just a little bit wider than shoulder width, and I want you to lower your hips down towards the floor into a squat position. And as you're starting to lower those hips down, take them a little bit further of each repetition. So you're just working within a comfortable range to begin with. As you're doing that squat, try and keep your back straight, and this will start to draw some blood to the muscles, getting you ready for the workout that's coming up ahead as well. Last couple of repetitions here, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take you into a lunge position. So I'm going to bring your feet together. We're going to take a large step backwards, lower the back knee down towards the floor, step back up and alternate the legs. Now, as you're doing this movement, make sure that you've got your weight through both feet for me. Sometimes when people do this exercise, they often lean over their front foot. So making sure that at this point you're quite stable at the bottom, that will definitely help you for some of the exercises that we've got coming up. So making sure that weight is equal between both feet is definitely key. And especially in this warm-up section, it will just help you transfer your weight into that back foot and lower yourself back down. Because as I say, we do have a little bit of balance work today as well. Okay, now it's time to get those heart rates up. So I want you to take an imaginary skipping rope. I just want you pushing off the floor. And as you start to push off the floor, you're just going to start to feel your breathing getting a little bit deeper and heavier. And just start to bring your heart rate up a little bit more. Now, we have got one of our first exercises is movement from side to side. So just start to bring that skipping where you jump from side to side in. So just a little bit of movement. Not only starting to work on a bit of agility, but also just starting to push off the floor just so we can get a few of those muscles ready so that if I gave you the option of doing a little bit of jumping work, you can start to see whether that fits what you want to do today or not. Now, I'm just going to scissor the feet forwards and backwards. So again, hopefully we're starting to feel that heart rate coming up. Starting to feel like you're engaging all of those muscles around the lower limbs, around the calf or the feet muscles as well. Okay, fantastic. Just loosen the body up for me. Bring yourself up into a fighting stance. I want you to jab, cross, jab, and we're going to jump 180 degrees and then pivot onto the opposite side. Now, when you're throwing these punches forward, I want you to connect your feet all the way through to your fists. And what that means is every time that you throw that punch forwards, I want your foot, your hips, and all of the muscles to start to connect as you throw those fists out in front of you in that straight punch. So not only are you starting to work on a bit of mobility still, we're activating all the muscles around the chest, shoulder, and back muscles as well. So make those punches strong. Excellent. Now just loosen up those arms. Give me a little jumping jack. Just arms around about shoulder height. Just start to increase that heart rate a little bit more. A little bit of side-to-side movement. We've got a few exercises that are going to explore these side movements today. So it's a nice little warm-up movement. Okay, let's take you into a little knee strike. So what we're going to do, reach your arms up high. Going to strike your knee up 3 times. Pivot your feet over to the opposite side. And again, strike your knees. Now, once you start to take this from one side to the other, you're going to start to feel that heart rate still go up. And now let's take you into your first exercise. It's called a speed skater. We're going to push off from side to side in this athletic stance. Let's get you moving straight away. Now you've got the option of tapping your foot on the inside of the foot that has landed. If not, you can keep the foot off the floor just to challenge a little bit more stability as well. So coming up to halfway, see how far you feel comfortable to travel. It does depend on how much space you've got as well. It could be a meter, could be a couple of meters as well. And we're just looking to change direction. And feel free, if you want to start to push your fitness, you can start to move quicker than me and overtake me in as many times as you like. Last couple of seconds here. And relax there. Good job. Okay, the next exercise is called a clock lunge. So I'm going to create a little bit of space. Now, think about a giant clock in front of you. You've got 12 o'clock straight ahead. So we're going to take a lunge down to 12 o'clock, and then we're going to start to move to either 3 o'clock or 9 o'clock, and then we're going to alternate the feet. So step out 12 o'clock, and then 3 o'clock or 9 o'clock with different feet each time. And all we're looking to do here is just to feel almost like a stretch through the muscles around the thigh, and also start to challenge that range of movement as well. So this is not an intense exercise. This is an exercise designed to challenge the stretch of the muscle and to start to feel what it's like just to move in different directions as well. So if you feel a little bit tight on your inner thigh, just take it a little bit easy. And as you start to warm up, maybe on the second round of doing these exercises, you can try and challenge that range of movement by dropping your knee or your hips down towards the floor a little more. Great job. Okay, let's take you into that balance exercise I've been telling you about. We're going to do a single leg balance deadlift. So just take one foot to tap on the toe. You're going to hinge forwards from your hips and then bring yourself back up to that balance position. Now we're just going to do the single leg. And then when we come back to doing these exercises, we'll do the opposite side as well. Now, when you start to lean forwards from this exercise, try to find that bit of balance. Now, if you need to tap the floor with the toes just to help gain a bit of balance, that's absolutely fine. But if you can balance the foot the whole time, that would be great. As you lean forwards, we want your back to stay straight, and feel free to explore what it's like to hold your leg out and keep that straight as well. So just challenging your balance here. You've got 10 seconds left to go. Take your time. Again, we're not rushing through a lot of these exercises today, just about moving well. And relax there. Okay, we're now going to take you back to that first exercise. So we've got speed skaters, the clock lunges, and then we'll do the deadlift on the opposite side. So just be mindful which foot was just on the floor, and we're going to swap it over to the other one coming up. Starting in 3 seconds with the speed skater, off we go. Push from side to side, that athletic stance again. Now, this is a chance for you to push your heart rates. So if you want to push yourself a little bit more, make it a little bit more dynamic, maybe bring yourself a little bit lower. I think this is one of the best exercises for any team sports. So maybe you are used to playing football, rugby, maybe hockey, netball, basketball, any of those sort of sports where you're involved with teams, or even just you're a runner and you change direction on trails. This is a great exercise to not only challenge the stability around your hips, but also this athletic stance is vital for when you do change direction as well. Really good for ankles and knees, just giving them a little bit of stability work. Okay, relax there. Let's get you ready for those lunges. So remember, 15 seconds in between, so take your time. Set yourself up for success with a nice little bit of room around you. 12 o'clock, and then you've got the 2 options to the side at 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock as well. So you pick any direction you want to start with, and it really doesn't matter the range that you go to. If you want to go a little bit deeper, that's absolutely fine. If you can hold that bad position and start to make it a little bit different, so maybe starting to feel what it's like to go a little bit lower, keep your back nice and straight, they're all the sort of things that we want you to explore. So nice big step, sink down as low as you feel comfortable to go to, maintaining a good amount of balance as you do these exercises. Now, you're going to start to feel like your heart rate goes down at certain times during today's workout, and that's absolutely fine. Today is not a focus on athletic performance. Today is just almost the contributors that builds a good athlete as well. Okay, relax there. We've got that deadlift. So what we do is take a balance on one foot. You're going to lean forwards from your hips, lifting that heel up behind you, and then slowly bring yourself back to an upright position. Balance is great. Tap the toe on the floor if you need to. Let's get going on this. Now, if you find yourself losing a bit of balance, feel free to hold on to the surface of something which has got a permanent object, so maybe a table, a chair, something that just gives you a little bit of balance if you need it. But at the same time, try to maintain the challenge and see if you can notice all of the foot muscles starting to work. Can you feel like your foot is dancing all over the floor as it's trying to find that little bit of stability as it's working? Now, if you're a very flexible person, you might find that this movement is actually really easy, and that's great. So just work on the balance. If you're not particularly flexible, it can be quite a challenging exercise. Let's get you ready for our second round of exercises. So we're going to grab a mat. We're going to take you down to the floor into a plank position, ready to do a mountain climber exercise. Now, if you haven't got a mat, use a towel, a jumper, something that makes it a little bit more comfortable. Pop yourself up into a press-up position, and I want you to drive your knees across your body. Now, as you start to drive your knees across, that little rotation is just going to start to work for your core a little bit more. Now, don't worry about going too quickly. I'd much prefer you to do your core work where you're working in a slow, steady way, bracing the core strong, thinking maybe about bringing your shoulder blades close together so your arms and your back muscles start to activate. And if you can't get your knees close to your elbows, just take them to whatever range feels comfortable. Each time you're just resetting that plank position as if you're ready for a press up at any time. And relax there. Okay, let's get you to lie down onto your side. We're going to do a side plank. Now, when we do this exercise, I'm going to set up my feet on top of each other. Elbow underneath the shoulder, up into a side plank. And then what I want you to do is I want you to reach underneath the body and then bring yourself back up to that side plank. Now, if at any time you start to lose your balance, then with your feet, just split them. Take the top foot, place it in front of your body, and just create a little bit more of a stable position. Now, we're going to do 45 seconds on this one side. Now, I'm going to let you know that you're coming up to halfway, which is now. So if you need to take a little breather, that's absolutely fine. Rest for a second, then bring yourself back up. And if you start to fatigue at any time, do a repetition, pause, and then bring yourself back up and go again. I would rather you do this with good control than you keep moving and you start to move into a bad position. Excellent. Okay, let's rest there. Now, what we're going to do is get you to lie down on your back. We're going to be doing a single leg hip press. So arms and hip spine is pressed against the floor. I'm going to dig one heel into the floor, one heel up in the air. Push against the floor to lift your leg up and extend through your hips. So as you start to push yourself up here, keep a really strong position. This is the exercise I was referring to in the warm-up. One of the best exercises for making sure that you're working your calves, hamstrings, lower back, and glutes all at the same time. If you've ever been told that you've got a weak core, you will need to develop it. If this is an exercise that you need to do to help get your glutes to fire, this is one of the safest and best exercises to do for that. It's a really nice way to prepare you for any sports that are about to happen. Push off the floor strong and relax there for me. Okay, let's turn you over back into that mountain climbing position. Now I'm going to face the opposite way so I can do my side planks and you guys will be able to see that as well. So press up position and bringing your knee across to the opposite elbow. Hands underneath the shoulders. Let's get working. Think about bringing the shoulder blades back and down so we get the upper body working as we're doing this movement. Get that strong plank position again. I always encourage people to look down towards their hands to help keep their spine in a good position. If your head starts to wander around, your spine starts to change position as well. So drive that knee across over to the opposite elbow. Be quite forceful with power, but just make sure each time you come back to that strong plank position. Just over 10 seconds of work to go. Keep driving that position strong. Keep squeezing the shoulder blades together. And relax there. Okay, let's get you ready for your side plank. So again, elbow underneath your shoulder, your feet stacked upon each other. If you need a little bit more balance, take the front foot is the one that's going to be on top. So strong side plank position. I'll let you know when we're halfway if you need a little breather. Other than that, let's get up and reach underneath your armpit and bring yourself back up again. So again, a strong side plank position. Keep it tall. Keep that strong position. See if you can rotate and allow your shoulder to come all the way down, parallel with the floor. Now, you're halfway, so if you need a little breather, please take one now. You can reset yourself, bring yourself up, and then go again. So again, keep control. Be strong in this position. Just think of it as an activation exercise where it starts to help with a little bit of tone, a little bit of core strength. Last one. And relax there. Okay, let's bring you down onto your back again. Now, again, this one is going to be your single leg hip press, but make sure you're doing the opposite leg. So one heel into the floor, one heel up towards the ceiling, hands and spine in contact with the floor. As you press your hip up, your heel comes up towards the floor. Here we go. So this is one of our great exercises, connecting all the way through that posterior chain. So all the muscles on the back of the body, calf, hamstring, glutes, and lower back, all engaging at the same time. If your mind starts to wander from what to focus on, think about how does it feel when you fully extend your hip and how high can you get that heel towards the ceiling. There are going to be a couple of focuses for you which will make sure that your technique is good and you're getting the most out of this exercise as well. So push up high, keep it strong. Just another couple of repetitions, then we're going to move on to our third round of exercises. And this is where we're going to try and challenge you a little bit more. So let's bring you back up to a standing position. Let's get the mats out the way. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to get you down into a lunge position. Now, from this low lunge position, what I want you to do is just take your back knee off the floor and hold for me. Now, what we're going to do is bring you up, back down, and hold. That's one repetition. Now, we're going to do 2 repetitions. Bring you back up and down twice. Hold at the bottom for me. Now we're going to do this a third. So bring yourself up and down 3 times. Bring yourself back down and hold. Now we do 4 repetitions. So each time, bring yourself up and down. We just pause at the bottom of that movement. Hold it here. Now 3 repetitions this time. So it's a little pyramid that we work down the opposite side now. Hold at the bottom. Now 2 repetitions this time. Bring yourself up and down twice. Pause at the bottom. Now on its own, let's go. Bring yourself up, back down, hold, and shake out those legs. Good. Now remember which leg you've done. We'll do the opposite on our second circuit. Next exercise, bring your feet together. We're going to hinge forwards from your hips. As you bow forwards, your hands walk down into that press up position and then walk your hands all the way back up. Okay, let's go together. So hinge from your hips, walk your hands forwards, keeping your legs as straight as possible. Option of a press up at the bottom. Then walk your hands all the way back up again. Stand tall for me. Let's go again. Remember that option of the press up at the bottom could be done on your knees. But if you can do a full press up on your toes, that will add your upper body strength in today as well. So very much a strong position, taking your time to push yourself back up. Definitely time for one more. And this will lead us really nicely into doing our next exercise, which is burpees. Okay, so a burpee is 3 jumps, or I'm going to give you the option of making this less dynamic. So step out, step in, stand up. The other option is you jump these, jump your feet out, in, and back up. I'll show you the jump now. Jump out, jump in. Jump up. Let's go for 45 seconds, stepping out or jumping. Your choice. You pick the intensity that you want to work with. If you want to get after it and get a little bit more fitness working, then you can start to add those jumps. Don't forget we've got a second round, so you can always add the jumps in on that second round as well. Just over 15 seconds to go. Probably time for about 4 more repetitions. Depends on your speed that you work with. I'm not too worried about how much you do, just making sure you move well, move with quality and with effort that is appropriate. Okay, relax there. Let's get you ready for that split squat on the opposite side. So down into that lunge position again. And what we're going to do is that same pyramid, do 1 rep, 2 reps, 3 reps, 4 reps, and then back down, holding at the bottom. Let's get you ready. Knee off the floor, pause, bring yourself up, back down and hold. That's your first. Let's go for 2 this time. Hold at the bottom. Okay, this time's 3. It's a real simple drill, but what happens is you start to hold there, is start to load the muscles. Let's go 4 reps this time. Just starts to keep your muscles under tension for a longer period of time, which can challenge people. Hold. Okay, 3 reps this time. Hold at the bottom. 2 repetitions. Pause. Now, just 1 repetition. Bring yourself up, bring yourself down. Hold. 2, 1, and relax there. Okay, let's get ready for those walkouts. So, hinge from your hips, lean yourself forwards, walk out the hands. Option of a press up at the bottom of the movement, and that press up can be done on your knees if you're starting to fatigue for the upper body as well. Let's get it going. Walk forwards with your hands. Option of that press up, again, options on your knees if you want it. Bring your knees back off the floor and then walk your hands all the way back up again. So you're trying to almost keep your legs stiff and straight through the whole movement here. That's almost your target. Great job. 15 seconds to go again. Option of that press up at the bottom. If you're chasing a little bit of upper body strength today, getting that press up in at the bottom is definitely recommended. Options on the knees if you need it. Okay, relax there. Okay, 45 seconds of work. Then it's down to the finish line, okay? 45 seconds of burpees. You know the options. You can walk it or you can jump it. Then we'll take you for a little bit of yoga. Let's get going. So pick the intensity that suits you today. The jump out, jump in, and jump up. Or you can just simply walk the feet out, in, and stand and repeat. Great opportunity to push your heart rate. You've got 20 seconds to go. Try and get a bit more jump up high if you really want to push yourself. Last repetition. Great job, and relax there. Okay, we'll allow your heart rate to come back down as we prepare you just to get your mats ready. And we'll just take you through a little bit of yoga movement. So some up dogs and down dogs. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to rest your knees onto the mat, place your hands underneath your shoulders, and we're just going to lower your hips down. Eyes look up towards where the walls and the ceiling meet. Roll your shoulders back and down. Now from here, make sure your toes are tucked under your body. Push into your hands and lift your hips up high. Looking towards your toes, you're now in downward facing dog. Just walk your heels for me, just so we can start to feel a little stretch for the calves. Then from here, transfer your weight forwards into that up dog again, but this time, we're not going to rest your knees onto the floor unless you really need to. I want you just to suspend them. Let the shoulders roll back, eyes look up. Just feel that extra little bit of a stretch at the front of the hips, working for the lower back. Then push through your hands, back to downward facing dog, and hold the pose here as well. Think about lowering your heels towards the floor, pushing through your shoulders. Now lift one leg up for me. And I want you to swing that foot up towards your hand. Now, once you're in that position, reach your hand up high, push your back heel away. Think about opening up through the hands. So from the ceiling to the floor, your arms reach away from each other. Push the back heel away. Now, bring that hand down inside your foot. Step back to downward facing dog. And opposite foot swings through. Now, if at any time your foot doesn't quite get there, wiggle it forwards, pick it up, move it, whatever you need to do. Adjust to develop the next stretch. Reach the hand high, push the back heel away. Bring the hand down inside your foot again. Step back to downward facing dog. Now this time I'm going to rest your knees down onto the floor and we're going to lower your hips towards your heels. We're going to just walk your fingertips forwards so you feel a stretch through the back, especially underneath your shoulders as well. Now bringing yourself up to a standing position, transfer your weight back onto your feet and roll up through your spine. Just loosen through the upper body here. Shake the legs out a little as well. Let's take you into a standing quadricep stretch. So if you need to hold on to something to balance, that's great. But bring one foot up into the palm of your hand. In this standing position, have a slight bend in the standing foot. I would love for you to think about pushing your front hip forwards, just so you get a stretch through the front of the hip here. Maybe think about pushing your foot, that's holding your hand, and push your foot into the hand to develop the stretch. And you'll feel that quadricep, that thigh muscle, will just stretch a little more. Bring the foot down towards the floor and swap it over. Slight bend in the standing foot, lengthen through the spine. Push the foot into the palm of your hand to develop that thigh stretch a little more. Great job. Okay, shake it out, loosen it up a little bit. Think about wrapping your arms around a giant inflatable ball. As the ball got blown into, you're starting to bring your shoulders wide. So you feel a stretch around the upper back. Starting to feel like you're developing that stretch. Once you felt like your upper back has got that stretch, bring your hands behind you. Link them behind your lower back. Now lift your chin and chest up tall. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Start to feel that stretch reach across your chest. Excellent. And just loosen out your body for me. Great job, everybody. So well done for completing today's workout. We will be back next Tuesday and Thursday at 7:45 in the morning, 12 o'clock lunchtime, and also at 5 o'clock in the evening as well. Hope you have a great rest of the week, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.